Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Beginner to Expert. This is part 29 Angular 7 tutorial. So in this session I will discuss how to use a reactive form in a practical field, okay, or how to validate a form using reactive form. So let's get started. Okay, so before jumping to code, I will show what are the things I'm going to explain. So here I will discuss on 5 points. So first of all, that I will consider four static fields. Okay, that is name, email, phone, and date of birth. And I will register this four field using or with the help of reactive form. And I will validate each field and show the validation message in the respective area. Okay, and also once user submit the button, I will log the inputs, user inputs in the console, and on click of reset button, so form will be reset. And basically this is part 1, reactive form validation. So flip to Visual Studio Code. In order to use the reactive form, first of all we need to register the reactive form module inside the your custom module. So here my custom module name is register book module, and here I already attached this reactive form module, and this module comes from Angular form, and this is the Angular part. Okay, forms module and reactive forms module. So okay, so once you registered that, after that what you need to do, we need to use one public uh, property like input form group, and which will be type from form group. After that I will add control to this from group. Okay, so as I told, name, email, name, email, phone, date of birth, those are the controls. Okay, so this dot form group dot, so once you press the dot, so what are the methods and property available you can see. So here lot of methods and property. So one of the method is called add control. Okay, so if you use the add control, then it will ask you to put name of the control. Okay, so this name should be unique, so that reactive form can identify the control uniquely. Okay, so I'll put name as name, and because my first control name is name, second is the email. Okay, now next thing is the control. So it is asking me to put some abstract control. So new form control, and this is also, if you can check, this is the part of this form module. So form group, form control, or the form module. But so form control, and here it is asking me to form state nothing but value. So here I will pass empty value, and second is the validator. So validator function and validator function array. So as of now, I mean, I will use the validator array. So later on I will discuss about the validator function, how to use the custom validator function, and how to attach to our custom validator to the control. Okay, so in my upcoming video I will show that. So now I will use the validators. So validator, by with the help of validators we can use the inbuilt validator, Angular validator, like validators dot. So if you press the dot, so you can see built-in validator is there, like max length, mean length, null validator, pattern, prototype, required, lot of things. Okay, so sorry, prototype is not a validator. So here I will use the required validator. Okay, okay, now I will copy and I will paste for others. So name, email, phone and date of birth. So for phone, instead actually this is basically a phone is not mandatory for our case. So here I will, instead of using required, I will use the mean length. This is a method, so it is asking me to put some length. Minimum length is 10, and also I will use the validators dot max length. This is also a method, and I will pass the 10. So maximum and minimum length should be 10. And for email, so this is required, and also what I need to pass, also the email should be valid email. So for that, validators dot pattern. So I will use the regex one. So here we can pass the regex as a string or direct regex. Okay, so here I will use string format. So in my earlier video, I already been used one email validator string. So I will use the same for this scenario as well. So I'll copy it and paste it over here. Okay, and email is required, and this pattern have been used. Name is required, phone not required, but once user put the phone number, it should be 10. So 10 digit number. So and date of birth is required. Okay, so now the form group is ready to use. Okay, now go to that HTML. So here first I will use the form tag. So inside the form tag I will use the form group. So in order to use the form group, we should use the attribute as form group, and need to pass the form group name. So okay, so as this is a variable, so I need to pass the variable, but we should decorate this form group attribute with square bracket. Okay, so now next thing is I will use one label to show the label. User name, I'll use the input, and here what I need to do, here I will use form control name. Okay, name. So if I go to the .ts file here, so my first alias of the form control is the form group. So this is parent, and all the control will be like children. Okay, so first form control name is name, so that is why I used form control name. Okay, this attribute, and this is the name of the form control. Okay, next thing, I'll use the bootstrap class form control sm. So okay, now I'll make it a proper style. So that is why I'll use bootstrap row class. Inside this I'll use call, suppose let's say 4 column, so each will be 3. Okay, okay, now save it. Now go to the browser. Here you can check that control has been generated. Okay, but now if I am touching or doing nothing is happening. So let me open the console. So here cannot read property add control of undefined. Okay, so if I click on this, so here, so now I will put the debugger over here and now refresh the page. So as I told you that form group will be by default undefined. So because I'm not assigning any value, I'm just mentioning this is this variable type would be like form group. Okay, so this, as this is undefined, so it doesn't have any property or something like that, like add control. Okay, that is why it is throwing error. Now flip to Visual Studio Code. Okay, so instead of leaving any, okay, so here what I will do, I will create the instance of the form group. Okay, so by default actually it is expecting some controls, so by default I will pass null. Okay, now save the page and reload the page again. Okay, something is going wrong. Go to console. Cannot convert undefined or null to object. Okay, okay, so I'll pass the empty object over here. Okay, now here you can check that input form group is having some form group instance and no controls is there. You can check no controls is there. Now if I debug by using F10. Okay, so now you can check one control has been added, that is name control. Okay, now if you go to one by one, now you can check four control has been added. Okay, so date of birth, email, name, phone. So if I open any of the control, like you know like a name, so here you can check errors. So one validator has been attached to this control, errors that is required. Okay, and by default you can check that is status is invalid, that means value is not provided by default. So by default we are provided empty. So also if I expand email, so here you can check that required email also is there. Now if I continue, here you can check that is one error actually coming. Cannot find control with undefined name attribute and unspecified name attribute. Okay, okay, let me check what we have missed out. Any name. Okay, so what is happening, so by default it is actually uh, by default it is empty. So in that time name is not registered. So first of all what I need to do, ng if until and unless it is not being generated. So form control name. Okay, sorry, it's my mistake. Mhm. So as name is not a variable, so I need to pass the string. Okay, because here I'm passing the string of the control name, so I'm not passing any variable. So that is why we have to also need to pass the string. Okay, now save the page and reload it. Okay, now no error is there in the console. So now if I touch, okay, if I, okay, it should show the red mark. So to show the red mark, what do we need to do? So here I will use on dynamic class, that is ng. With the help of ng class, we can use the dynamic class. So here I will use bootstrap class text danger, and when it will show, I will show it once this control is touched or dirty. So this form group is having uh, control, and we can access that control using dot get method. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to pass the name of the control. Okay, so my first control name is name. Okay, now if I put dot suppose errors. Okay, first I will check that errors is there or not. If it is there, then I will check dot r sorry. Okay, I will check it like this, errors only. Okay, so if it is errors, then only it will show the red mark. Okay, so open the browser and check. Okay, now if I touched, so you can check the cursor, or if you type. Okay, so cursor color is red. Okay, now if I want to put some border on pixel solid, sorry, solid red, like this. Okay, so what we need to do, so I'll open that css file for this component, and here border red, border on pixel solid red. Okay, so I will use this class border red. Okay, okay, now open the browser, and here you can check the red color is showing. That means that control is required, that means error is there. Okay, so but now question may comes to your mind that I don't want to show user that the red color will be visible first time, so until and unless user touch the form or user type something. So to avoid that, what we need to do, so here I'll put on condition dot touched, touched. If it is touched and errors, then only that class will be applicable, this border red color. Okay, now it is not showing. So once you touched and click of outside, that means it is indicating that field is required. But so but I want to show the star mark beside of this label. Okay, so what you need to do, so here I'll put one span tag, and I'll put the star mark, and this star mark will be visible only if it is required. Okay, so here star ng if errors dot required, if this error object is having the required property. Okay, that means if the error means validator, required validator is attached to this control. Okay, then only it will be visible, and it will, and color will be text danger. Okay, now save the page. Now here you can check that red star mark is coming. Okay, so now that I want the validation message once user touch the form, okay, and leave without value. So that message should show like name field is required. Okay, so to achieve that, what we need to do, I will use one ng container, that template, and here I will use ng star. Okay, ng if this is touched, if this is touched or dirty. Okay, or dirty. Okay, then only the message and all will be visible. So here I will use the span, and name field is required. Okay, and color will be red color, and this required will be visible only if the required validator is attached to this control. Okay, let me copy this whole expression, paste it over here. Okay, now save the page, open the browser. Now here you can check no message, first time it is showing. Now if I touched and leave, then only it is showing name field is required. Okay, so once you put the value, so it should oh, some error is coming. It so hide the message, cannot read property. Okay, so what is happening, so once you put the value, so a reactive form will react and it will update the form for this control, that record is not there because already user has means already user has given some value. So that is why reactive will update the form. Okay, so in that time no error is there. So for that I need to put some question mark over here. So if it is errors, some errors is there, then only it will check the property name. Okay, so better I will show you the message and all using this expression, binding expression, and I will pass it like JSON. So now open the browser. So now here you can check one object is there and the property is required. So first time, as I told that we already attached the required validator to the name control. So that is why once I put the value, so it became null. Okay, or again if you remove the value, again it will attached. So reactive will observing to this control. Okay, so you don't worry about that. So now I think you get to know so what is happening inside the reactive form and how to use that. Okay, so for first control we have done. So now let me copy and put it for other control. Okay, so last one is date of birth, and here I will put the date of birth name, Okay, and I will change the message. Okay, so I copied for other three fields, and here I added for email, like first is a pattern, so I attached two validator required and pattern, because I also attached over here. So for email, required and pattern. Okay, and for phone, minimum length and maximum length, two validator we have been attached. So here, if errors is having a pattern, that property, that means this is for invalid email. And phone also, here you can check. So minimum length and maximum length also I attached. Okay, and date of birth, as you know, I only attached the required validator, so that is why I kept. Now save the page and open the browser. Okay, so here you can check now everything is working fine. If I touched the required field, so it is showing a proper message. If I put some value, and here if I put some value, so it is showing like first invalid email. So if I put some valid email, so it is not showing. So now phone field is not showing the required, but it is, if I put some value, once a user start to put the value, so it will validate that contain 10 digit number or not. Okay, so if I put some 10 digit number, so it will remove the error message. Okay, so here, okay, now that validator is working fine. Now I need to put as our mockup. So here, so two button I need to consider, reset and submit. So for that, I will use another row, and here I will use one button group. So this is also from Bootstrap, button group sm, and inside this I will use the button. So btn primary, and rounded 0, and this is called submit, and type will be submit, and okay, and copy paste another button for reset. Here it will be like button, and text would be like reset, and this is not primary, but it would be like outline. Okay, so this is secondary one. So submit and reset, and I will attach on click event over here, click event over here on form reset. Okay, so I will register this function inside the ts file, and what I will do, so this form group will be reset. So this is having one reset method. So what it will do, so it will erase the values of all the controls, and will remove the validators as well. Okay, so this is from reactive form method. Okay, so now, and also I want okay, so submit. As I put the submit button type is submit, so what I will do, I will attach one submit event over here to log the user input data. So on form submit, so here also I will register this method. Okay, so here what I will do, I will console the inputs. So here this dot input form group dot values. Okay, okay, here value. So now save the page and open the browser over here. So okay, so I need to put some break in between the button and form control. So I'll put one break element. Okay, so here suppose I'm putting some value. Okay, now once I click on the reset, so what will do, form will be reset. Okay, all value will be erased and validation, that message and all validation also will be removed. Okay, if I once again I touch, the same thing will happen. Okay, so now next thing is the submit. Okay, so now I put some valid okay, exactly 10. Okay, now once I click on submit, so it will log the object. Okay, so this object is having four control, so date of birth, email, name and phone, so all our value is logged in the console. So now next thing what we need to do, so once you integrate with the live service, so you just need to pass the this object to the server to save the data. That's it. Okay, so anything I'm missing out, let me check. Log input values in console, validation message, validate each field, register. Okay, I think most of the things we have been covered. So next part 2 I will show. So this is kind of static field. Okay, so next in the next coming video I will show how to validate the how to validate a control with the help of custom validator. Okay, so like here mobile number, so I want to put some custom validator like US mobile number or Indian mobile number. Okay, like that. Okay, also date of birth, so date of birth format, so I will create another means some custom or function, global function, so which will be going to use throughout the application. Okay, so next upcoming video I will show that. So stay tuned for the next video. So just and try this session by yourself, and if you have any queries, so don't forget to leave a message in the comment section below. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.